Welcome to the Grassroots Racing Show. I'm Doug Thompson with co-host Roger Thompson. Roger, this is our 7th season of the Grassroots Racing Show. That's amazing, isn't it?
That is amazing, and you know some other things that are amazing is we had a fellow in here in the museum yesterday with a rat rod. He and his wife were from Ontario, Canada, and they pick up the Grassroots Racing Show over the internet. And that guy and his wife knew more about the shows than I can remember from 7 years.
Well,
but it was...
I understand, same thing here.
Yeah, and it's been an exciting time at the museum. Look at some of the visitors we've had here in just the last 6 months. We had Kenny Schrader come in with his crew. Then he sent in his cousin, Carl Edwards, came in April.
And Carl hadn't announced his retirement yet when Carl came in.
Yeah, and we've just had all kinds of visitors to the museum, and the tour lasts about 2 hours, and these folks are amazed at what they find here. And it's the same way with the Grassroots Racing Show. The in-car cameras and the coverage we get there it's amazing. And now we're back to Humboldt. The season is starting, and it's an exciting time for everyone.
Yeah, and you're right. Over the years, we've had lots of the really named racers have been through. Doug Wolfgang, of course, was here years ago. We've had lots of racers that are in the NASCAR series that come in and other series, and that's always a pleasure to have them come in, and they really seem to enjoy the facility, and so do we. But you're right, this is going to be the NASCAR Open Wheel Modified, and we're going to be showing the A main event, and this took place at Humboldt Speedway on March the 22nd and the 23rd.
You've raced at that bull ring before.
I have raced there, yeah. And you know, we had, they used to, I don't remember what it was called now, but it was at the end of the year each year. And they used to have an event down there, and we had really good success. I ran that track really well, and their competition's fantastic. The promoters, the owners of that track, they do an excellent job maintaining that. And you know, with us being track owners too, and the maintenance that's required on that, when you start putting that much traffic on it night after night, you really got a lot of work to do to get a track well prepared so that the people up in the stands and the competitors aren't just going just a freight train. You got a chance to move up the pass, high side, low side, and Humboldt's always done a really good job with that.
It's always been a wide racetrack, and it's been a lot of racing lanes. But the other thing about getting a racetrack ready is not just the track, but it's the grounds, and it's the concessions, and it's the seats, and parking, and everything else. That is as much work as it is to get the racetrack ready. And these guys seem to do it very well every time.
Yeah, they do.
What's exciting about this race on the 22nd and 23rd is it's the first ever NASCAR open-wheeled A-Mod race.
At Humboldt?
At Humboldt,
yeah.
Yes. And racing the USRA mods, but apparently NASCAR is involved in it now as part of their modified series. And 20 laps pays $800. There's drivers from 7 states at this racetrack.
Oh, that's tremendous.
And it's a good showing.
And you know, in the NASCAR series over the years has reached into the grassroots racing. And Clint Boyer came through one of the NASCAR series, was racing up at I-70. And so, you know, it's well known. And of course, if you want to run one of the series, that's a good one to run, because somebody says, what series you're racing in? NASCAR. And there's just like, are you a Major League Baseball player? Yeah, I am. I'm playing single A, double A, triple A, working my way to the top level.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're going to cut away. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with Racing from Humboldt.
NASCAR Open Wheel Modified A, man, this should be good. It's Mitch Keeter out of Joplin, Missouri in 1, and Josh Hanks out of Winona, Minnesota in 99, the front row. Then it's Steve Holzcamper out of Gentry, Arkansas in 5, and Jesse Willard out of Mound City, Kansas in 40. Row 3 will be Cody Schneep out of Wichita on the 21C inside. Chase Sig out of Ayola on the outside in 18 junior. Row 4 inside will be Jeremy Chambers out of Parsons, Kansas in 17, and Tanner Mullins out of Wichita in 02. Row 5 will be Jake Tim out of Winona, Minnesota in 49. Dean Willie out of Warrensburg, Missouri in 68. Then it'll be Billy Vogel out of West Fargo, North Dakota in 4. And Terry Schultz out of Sedalia, Missouri in 90. Then it's Colson Kirk out of Urbana, Missouri in 5. J.C. Morton out of Springdale, Arkansas in 18. Andy Jones out of Princeton, Minnesota in 73. Bryce Schneep out of Wichita in 21B. Jim Body out of Diamond, Missouri in 71. Jason Schill of Centuria, Wisconsin in 1. Kevin Newell out of Wichita in 22, and Tad Davis out of Mount Oak, Kansas in 75. 20 laps, 800 to win. Here come the NASCAR Open Wheel Modifieds.
You want to go the best one you got so I can put it up?
I took a bunch.
Down the back straightaway, Mitch Keeter looking to go back-to-back. Boy, if Mitch would have just gone to victory lane Thursday night, he'd be in line for that Whitworth Construction bonus after finishing second on Thursday night. He won on Friday night, and he's leading right now. Look out, a wheel cover went screaming in the grandstands here. Looks like it just fell no harm, no foul there. Looks like it's all right. Josh Hanks now beginning to run down your race leader, Mitch Keeter. Here it's Keeter, Hanks, heads up, Holzcamper's around. Look out, Steve. Steve Holzcamper and the 21 of Cody Schneep together. 21C and the 5 got together right here at the flag stand, and around went Steve Holzcamper. Second, let's see if he's got enough to get back by Jesse Willard into second and challenge for the lead. We're back to green. Mitch Keeter back to the race lead in the 1 car. It'll be Keeter down the back straightaway. Then it's Josh Hanks, Willard. The 0-2 of Tanner Mullins, and Jake Tim has now cracked the top 10. Tim, remember, started 9th. In that 49, he was Thursday night's winner. So let's see, is it Keeter or is it Hanks, or do we have our third winner in 3 nights? Down the back straightaway, Mitch Keeter, Josh Hanks, Tanner Mullins now going to move on to that third spot of the 0-2. He's gone to third. 4th is Willard, 5th is Tim, 6th is 17 of Jeremy Chambers, and you've got Chase Sig, Terry Schultz, J.C. Morton, and Dean Willie rounding out the top 10 right now. Still your leader, Mitch Keeter, in 1. Looks like we got a couple cars turning around over in turn number 2. That's the 5 of Colson Kirk and the 21B of Bryce Schneep got together. We'll slow the action here for the second time. On the list of potential favorites of the King of America now, as well as they've run here this weekend so far. Here we go. Back to green for Mitch Keeter in 1.
'73.
Down the back straightaway, Mitch Keeter will be your leader. He'll drive away just a bit from Josh Angst. Angst down the back straightaway, now down the front straightaway, trying to move a little bit lower on the speedway here to maybe challenge Mitch Keeter up front. It's Keeter in 1, Angst in 99, Mullins in 02, Willard in 40, and Tim in 49. Josh Angst to the bottom, but now Jake Tim to the top. Jake Tim going to try to roll around the outside, see if he can't make up some ground here and move up another couple of spots here. Down the front straightaway, it'll continue to be the 1 of Mitch Keeter. I tell you what a dream weekend for him. Down the front straightaway, it'll continue to be Mitch Keeter, Josh Angst, and still Tanner Mullins. But I tell you what, Jake Tim, here comes Jeremy Chambers as well. Chambers around the top of the racetrack as well, trying to run towards the front of the field. But Mitch Keeter has driven away from Josh Angst a bit. He's got about a 6-car length advantage. Now we've got one around, and the caution is out. That is a 21 car, I believe. That will be Bryce Schneep's 21. Ryan Angst now to the bottom. Angst will look to the inside of Mitch Keeter. Keeter will slide all the way to the cushion. He'll blast off turn 2. He'll hang on to the race lead down the back straightaway. Mitch Keeter in 1, Josh Angst in 99. Tanner Mullins now getting racy. Here comes Jake Tim, kind of like we thought. Jake Tim has gone by Jesse Willard to 4th. He's going to work on Mullins now for 3rd. Jake Tim, Thursday night's winner, a brand new MB Custom race car for Jake here this weekend. And he has moved out of the 4th spot in 49. So it's Keeter, then it's Angst. Jake Tim trying to wrestle his way to a podium finish here, but Mullins hanging on to it in 0-2.
Did you get it that time, Bonnie? This is halfway.
Down the front straightaway, halfway through this one, it's Mitch Keeter, Josh Angst, Tanner Mullen, Jake Tim, and still Jesse Willard hanging on to the top 5. Terry Schultz is now there. Schultz taking a look to the back bumper of the 40 car of Willard as they are battling for a 5th spot, but boy, oh boy, oh boy, Mitch Keeter is awfully good here this afternoon. Mitch Keeter, Josh Angst, Tanner Mullen, Jake Tim, and Jesse Willard. And it's Terry Schultz, the 17 of Jeremy Chambers, the 18 of J.C. Morton. Good run for J.C. Morton. Started outside of the 7th row. He started 14th, and he is up to 7th. So J.C. Morton, that PCD race car, rolling around the top of the Hummer. Tell you who else looking good. The 20th starting Tad Davis 75 car is into the top 10. Tad Davis is up to 8th right now in 75. So Davis started 20th. He's up to 8th. J.C. Morton started 14th. He's up to 7th. Those two guys trying to rally from the tail. A little bit of contact with the front straightaway wall here for Cody Schneep as we circle back to the front of the field here. The 1 car of Mitch Keeter continues to lead. 15 laps in and 5 to go. Still Keeter, Angst, Mullins, Tim, and Jesse Willard. Mitch Keeter, Josh Angst rolling around the Hummer here in the middle of the top groove. Then it's Tanner Mullins, Jake Tim. Jesse Willard continuing to hold off Terry Schultz here for a top 5 finish on the final afternoon here at the Battle at the Bullring. Coming up to the 17 lap in the book mark with 3 to go. Jesse Willard with trouble here. Oh, look out, heads up, turn number 4, Jesse Willard. Caught the outside turn 4 wall with his right front. And that will change things as Willard having a good run here. He was sitting in the top 5. Mitch Keeter in 1. Back to green we go. Terry Schultz, Tad Davis, and Billy Vogel now going to try to roll around the middle of the top of the racetrack. Everybody else has gone to the bottom side. Mitch Keeter going to slide all the way across the racetrack one more time. He'll continue to lead with 3 to go. Down the back straightaway, Keeter, Angst, Mullins, Timms, now Tad Davis. Davis and Schultz side by side. That's for 5th. Remember, Tad Davis started 20th. Started dead last on the field. Let's see if he can complete a worst to top 5 run here with 2 to go. Down the back straightaway, Mitch Keeter in 1, Josh Angst in 99. Tanner Mullen, Jake Tim, Terry Schultz. 75 of Davis and the 4 of Vogel. Still a good battle there. White flag will fly. One more lap around for the NASCAR Modified A-Main with 1 to go. Mitch Keeter, a near perfect weekend. If it wouldn't have been for Jake Tim the other night, Mitch Keeter would have swept the weekend. He's going to go into 3 and out of 4. Your Sunday Humboldt Modified winner, Mitch Keeter in 1. There it is, your NASCAR Modified A-Main to the checkered. Top 5 will look this way. 5th will go to Terry Schultz in 90. 4th will go to Jake Tim in 49. Tanner Mullins will come home 3rd in 02. Josh Angst will come home 2nd in the 99. And his 2nd win of the weekend out of Joplin, Missouri. The Pete Salvage Hillman Race Engine GRT race cars. And Mitchell's Mobile One sponsored number 1, as we said, out of Joplin, Missouri. Your winner, Mitch Keeter in 1.
Man, you got to be wondering, 10th to 2nd that first night, just missed that $500 bonus, but what a weekend for this car.
Yeah, it's been great. I've run racing here for 5 or 6 years and never won one. Just been a good weekend. Everything's going my way and got a little luck on my side, and I'm doing what I can with it. It's working good.
Talked a little bit about it on night number 2 when you won the feature event. For everybody here that's different that wasn't here that night and everybody online, tell us a little bit about this car because it has some history about why you're running the number 1.
Yeah, a good friend of mine is going through some health issues, and he went with me every weekend for about 10 years, and I just did this tribute car. He can't come with me this year, and Ed Potts is Fast Eddie Potts, as everybody knew him around here. He raced in the area for about 30 years. Won a lot of track championships in the area, so we did it for him since he can't be here.
Congratulations on a super successful, man. What a way to start a season.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Mitch Keeter will be your victor tonight.
Welcome back to the Grassroots Racing Show. I'm your host, Doug Thompson, with co-host Roger Thompson. Roger, we were talking before we began this show, and I think we even said at the beginning, this is the 7th season of the Grassroots Racing Show. And of course, people who are watching this can watch the show on the Eagle Communications Network. We're delighted with the exposure that Eagle gives to us, and they can also go to our website, which is grassrootsracing.org. You can pick up lots of shows from over the years, and we've had some fantastic programs, and it's been great to get back into this time of year to where we actually get to ask Mike Kraft and his crew to go out to the racetracks, and they always pick the best racetracks. We don't really tell Mike where to go. Mike lets us know I'm going to Humboldt or other spots, because he always goes to where the best racing is.
Yeah, and most of the time Mike tells us where to go.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
And it's just hard for me to believe that I started this show at the age of 14, and now here we are 7 years later.
21. We're both 21 now, aren't we?
That's just amazing.
Yeah.
And this was an incredible race. There's a reason they call it a bull ring. 5 guys, 5 cars out of the 20 did not finish.
Yeah.
They were all DNF. And this little fella from Missouri,
Webb City,
Missouri, did an excellent job in that GRT car.
Yeah.
And
Mitch
Keeter.
Keeter.
Yeah, Mitch Keeter. And the race was great all the way through. It's always outstanding racing at Humboldt.
Yeah. And we've been in that position where we've been chasing the leader, and we've been the leader. And so, you know, like in his case, he very early on, Mitch very early on said, okay, this is my line, and until somebody can show me that they can take it away from me, I'm staying in that groove, and he did. And there was enough racetrack, high side, low side, to take runs at him. You just had to time your lap traffic pretty well, and he did a good job, as we both know from having been there. You want to try and hit that so that you're coming through the traffic, and you have your own line going through the corner, and the guy that's trying to pass you has to adjust his line to get by that lapped car. And you got to move when you got to move.
And several times the competition made runs at him on the low side, because he was running up high, and they would make a run on the low side and try to pull up in front of him, and didn't quite have enough momentum to do it. But that's what makes the racing exciting. And he didn't have a huge lead. It was most of the time 3 to 5 car lengths, and but he held in there. So and you keep in mind, there's guys from 7 states as far away as Wisconsin and North Dakota, Minnesota. These are tough guys.
They are. They didn't pull all that way just to make the field. They came down there with the intentions of winning and putting on a good showing, and they did put on a good show.
They did, and $800 for 20 laps is a good payout.
Yeah.
Humboldt has always done very well with the payouts, and they seem to bring in the toughest competitors in the nation at that track. It's centrally located, and the track is always great, and it's a day's drive for most of the guys that want to go there. A lot of guys come up from Missouri and Arkansas, but when you bring in the North Dakota group and the Wisconsin and Minnesota, those guys have been racing these modifieds a long time.
Yeah, they have. And it looked like there was a good crowd at the event, and we consistently hear this from people, and they come through, and we'll ask them about, well, where do you go racing at, or where do you go watch the racing? And they'll tell us, and then we ask, well, what's the program like? You know, and they take a lot of pride in the programs that they're going to in their own area. And very seldom do we really hear complaints from those who have been attending the races. They're always very appreciative of the fact that it's grassroots racing, and it's good racing. And they enjoy the show and the name for it, Grassroots Racing, because that's what it's all about.
Sure.
You watch the Grassroots Racing show this year, you're going to see a lot of really good racing. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
There is exciting racing action every week on Grassroots Racing Show Night at the Track. You don't want to miss a single episode. If you miss any of the shows, be sure to look us up on Facebook or at grassrootsracing.org.